watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
All right. Oh, look at me there. Really small. There we go. Let me just have a fiddle with my knob when I go big. Good evening, good day, good morning. Sorry, I can get away with that on this show. I can't get away with that on the breakfast show. But good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, goodbye. Hello. Hey, great news. Number 4 is through the door. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for joining us, whether you are watching on YouTube, Facebook or Twitter, or listening on your favourite podcast platform. Either way, you are most welcome. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, do feel free to subscribe, which is free, and then you can join in the comments down the side. And if you're watching it on Catch Up, add your comments underneath the video. It's very, very simple. You can also follow us on all our social media accounts, which are shown below. We no longer have the website that says it is under maintenance, but we are closing that down. But you can find us everywhere else there, literally all underneath there. LTID TV or Leicester Till I Die. Search either or and you will find us. What a day. They're just coming in. And talking about small knobs and twisting them. Hello, Brad. The devil are you, sir?
Well, it was good until you said that about me. Thanks for that, mate. How are you doing?
It's all right. That's a day down the gym I'll never get over.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, I have to let myself go on this because on the breakfast show I've got to be so PC and careful that I'm
surprised you even get through a show.
Well, it's difficult. If I wasn't able to put music in between, I probably wouldn't. Mike is in. How you do? How the devil are you, Mike? Evening, mate. Big up, everyone. And like he says there, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, Michael. And get your messages. By the way, Brad, thanks for adding me.
No worries, mate. The group will be putting together shortly. I will get round to putting you all in a group chat so you can talk amongst yourselves about how you're going to take me down.
This will be ready for you, Mike, by about 2025.
Yeah. When I'm winning again and I'm back top, that's when I'll suddenly start it.
Yeah. And double check. I'm not just saying, keep a note of your own scores as well. Because Brad has been known, in fairness, Brad has been known to actually forget to add marks onto his score, and I've had to actually inform him that he's got more than he thought he had. That's probably why I didn't win it, but there we go. Like I say, number 4 through the door, Brad, but I've got to say, we're going to start with really some breaking news, and it's sad, really. I just wanted that laugh to go on and on and on forever. Your favourite ex-player, and it is a bit close between this guy,
Perez.
Vestergaard and Perez. But he's injured again. What a shame.
I know, my heart bleeds for him. I mean, when people say they want to live their dreams, Chris, I don't know if he envisioned his dream was to go and get paid and sit in the Chelsea hospital, because that's all he's been doing since he signed there. It couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, mate.
No, Doug sent me the message earlier. He sent me on Twitter, and I went, "Yeah, it's going to happen to a nicer player." You may remember when he left that I did say I don't normally wish this on any player, but I do hope he breaks his leg again.
Well,
Thank you, Dad, for me. Thank you, Dad, for me.
I will do. Cheers, Dad. Have him for that one. Yeah. I'll be close enough to it. It's ACL recorrection surgery, so thanks for the 70 million for him. Chelsea. It's good to see that the grass is not always greener on the other side. He also can't stand the heat, Chris, can he? He should get out the proverbial kitchen, because Chelsea fans have come about now. Obviously, all our opinions on the side. Don't get too personal with somebody. I'm sure there are some comments that have taken it too far, but it's weird, isn't it? He threw his toys out the pram, deleted everything off social media when we called him a snake for wanting to abandon us, and now Chelsea fans are telling him he should go because he's injury prone and he's no good. He's done the same for Chelsea fans. We tried to warn you. You paid 70 million for a warning and you didn't heed it, but thank you very much, Chelsea, and I hope it's as slow a recovery as possible.
Mind you, in fairness, we don't hear and act on warning signs either, do we?
Bell end.
For the Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
But Mike said, as soon as you mention his dad, the light shines through.
I know, right? That was his way of saying you're welcome.
What's this, Chris? Definitely a face for radio. Can I just say, right, because as you all know, I do the breakfast show on surreyhillsradio.co.uk. This is where you can listen to it. 8 till 10 every weekday morning with the Golden Breakfast Show. There we go. In my best Tony Black.
You've been practicing that, haven't you, mate?
Yes,
You've been doing that in the shower.
I've said what I do in the shower. It stays in the shower. Because it won't go down the plug hole. But let me just tell you this. Right. There's friends and there's friends. Now, they say that you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. To that, Dan, I wouldn't have chosen you. Nobody else rings me up during a show to say, how can I listen to you? I mean, what? Daniel? Really? Seriously?
This is why you were adopted, Daniel, not chosen.
We all make mistakes. It's a good job I didn't pay for you. I'd have kept the receipt and been taking you back for a refund. Nate is in. Hello, Chris Brad. Does Leicester have a trade agreement with Denmark for keepers? I think we do.
Maybe we do.
Good evening, Geordie. How are you? We are both keeping well, mate. Come and buy Barnes, please. Just get it over with. Then we've got the money to spend. It would just help us out. Don't mess about. And Cyber is in, Cyber Leader, who apparently no longer interested in in Barnes, but they've got the money to spend. I believe you've sold Rice finally. I believe you have sold Rice. I mean, just a rumor. I've not read anything on social media or watched anything on sports channels, but I believe that Rice has finally been sold.
There was a part of me, though, that half wanted someone to come in and bid 110 million and take him from Arsenal just so the Photoshop could get destroyed.
No, yes. No, but I still have the pleasure of looking at all those Madison Photoshops. Of
Mahrez, Katey, Smartis, the list goes on, mate. Arsenal players.
Yeah.
Arsenal silence another year.
I think he's got a full-time job in the Arsenal internet feed.
I didn't know our players were so popular for Arsenal, being since the last one we can remember is Alan Smith.
Exactly. Well, that's the last one we remember. The last one they remember has been about at least one or two a season since then. But they just never come off, you know. But look, something that has come off, apart from obviously me in the shower earlier, is this gentleman who has signed for us. Let's bring his details up. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name. What did you say we should call him the other night?
We'll just call him Dave. Just call him Dave. We'll do it justice. We'll just call him Harry, just for Dave's purposes.
Jordy, I'm gonna star that comment because I will come back to that at the end because we actually touched on this yesterday about FFP in Newcastle. And fair play to you, you are trying to stick to it. But there's something I want to ask you about that. Cyber, we hate him. Wanted him to go up north. You know about Rice now, or I'm confused. I presume he is anyway. But yeah, Dave has signed for us, and here he is holding. Confusing because they've always been wearing pink and holding like, multicolored shirts. I'm thinking like, who is he? Of course,
good old Mads. Good old Mads. Rice just come in and said that for us. Mads is better than Madders.
So, we've got rid of a Madders and got a Mads, haven't we? You know, of course the joke.
I tell you what, Chris,
you haven't got to be mad to play here, but it helps.
It does help. I tell you what, though, Chris, I will say this: I've not been too fond of some of the goalkeeping kits over the years, but I don't know what it is about it, but I really like it. I just wonder how much trouble they're going to get in for put. Yeah, I do. I like it. I like that colour green. My favourite goalkeeping kit of all time was the one that Casey Keller wore. Back in the first, well, not the all green one, the one that was like a camouflage style one. I really like that. Padded elbows. I always wanted that. I loved that kit as a kid. So
I am just a traditionalist, and I like green and black boots, and but just call me old fashioned. You call me.
I know. I do think it's a bit strange that the picture got taken and he's still in that crappy FBS logo shirt, which are no longer sponsoring us. But
I've actually had an email today off an agency that has done research into what fans think about their sponsors, and that's going on about FBS. And I'm thinking, I might have to do a show on that. That could be interesting.
Yeah, all I will say is that
it stood for fucking bloody shit.
Well, I was going to say, for me, it was just exactly the same. That was the words I was going to use. That's what it must stand for, because it looked horrible on our kit. I don't like it at all.
Absolutely did. Right, now, I'm not sure if this is going to work, because the video earlier, we did try, didn't we, to play his video, and it didn't work. So we're going to have to sort of do it via Facebook. I think I can get away with Facebook. I can't get away with YouTube, but it does mean...
Don't mention the video. You think you got away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what we're going to try and do here is... Let me add this to the stream. And you'll have to bear with me, guys, because... Oops. Let me add that back. There we go. I'm going to try it like that and just see if we can get him speaking. So... Can you see that?
Yeah. I can see that. Even with my glasses off, I can see it.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
As soon as I went into the driveway, I was just stunned about this amazing facility.
Welcome to Club Mads. Congratulations. How do you feel to be sat here right now?
First of all, I'm very, very proud to be here. It's a big moment for me and for my family, and I'm very, very happy. So I can't get I'm really looking forward to get started.
When you first heard of the news of the interest of Leicester, how did you feel?
Yeah, of course, I was happy. For me, it was Leicester is a very, very big club and has so much potential. So I'm very looking much forward to get started.
Do you have any abiding memories of Leicester City, of watching those when you were younger or growing up at all?
Of course, the championship season stands out for me. I've always followed the Premier League, so for me that was a great season for the club also. And I really felt inspired doing that season because that was a real team.
And of course, Kasper Schmeichel played such a pivotal role, didn't he, in that season? And for so many years, he's got a brilliant legacy here at the club. Obviously, you're following him as a Danish goalkeeper. Daniel Eversen's here already.
Yeah, of course. Talked to both of them. Very nice guys in the national team also. So they only have positive things to say about the club. So yeah.
How much does that help you, being able to speak to people that have got experience of the club and are even here now in Daniel's case?
of course, I think it's always nice to have someone to go to on the first days. I know Victor Christiansen very, very well. So yeah, it's very nice for me, and yeah, I'm looking forward to start.
When you look at your career as a whole, how have you found it so far? Obviously, you were Bromby's Player of the Season last year, or Player of the Year last year. So do you feel like your career is progressing as you wanted it to?
Yeah, absolutely. I played 2 full seasons for Bronby, and I think I developed in a very, very good way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to take the next steps with Leicester.
Have you got a particular style as a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I really like to be on the ball. I like to play and be as much as I can in the game. And I think I'm fast on the line reaction wise. So yeah, we'll help the team by building up also.
In a few penalty saves as well, in a few compilations. That they must be pleasing. The top thing to do as a goalkeeper, I guess, maybe, or keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah, of course, those things are nice, but I always try to look at the general performance, and if I can top it up with some good saves and stuff like that, it's of course positive.
Have you had a chance to speak to Enzo yet about what he maybe expects from you?
I just had a quick chat with him just when I arrived, so not that much yet. But I look forward to hear what I have to do and what I have to develop to be a part of the team.
You get to have your first session, but obviously you've had a look around here at Seagrave. What do you make of it?
Of course, as soon as I went into the driveway, I was just stunned about the looks of this amazing facility. And of course, it's a privilege to have this as a player. So I will use all of it to try to develop with the team.
And of course, you've got some time here at Seagrave before you head out, of course, to Bangkok and Singapore for the pre-season tour. How much are you looking forward to that? That'll be a really good opportunity for you to really get to know the lads and get to know the style that maybe Enzo is wanting.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, a very, very good opportunity to get a part of the team, to know the boys, and to get into the football part of it. So I think I look forward to all the hours and getting ready for the new season.
The Premier League? That's so last season. It's all about the Championship here on LTID TV.
Now that's what I call football.
You hit the right spot.
Now then, I don't know. I was about to say, isn't that looking professional? And then I'd left that one running. You can get away with that on the radio, you know. There we go. Sorry about that. It wasn't the stream that I expected, but yeah, he's saying all the right things, isn't he? I mean, Mike says here, he looks. My God, my eyes are going. He looks so composed and relaxed to an extent. FBS are our training kit sponsors still. Yes, they are. They were our main sponsors. We know they're not now, JB. Something was missing from that, you felt, though, didn't you?
Yeah, and just a quick pop quiz for those in the comments. Even if you don't follow Leicester, you probably know the answer to this. How many Danish players are currently in the first team squad? You know, is it A2, is it B3, or is it C7? Because there was a certain one, now maybe by accident on purpose, Enzo's made sure his phone line's disconnected because he didn't want him to say anything bad about the club. But just in case you get a chance to answer the question, don't worry, you still got a chance, you can name them all for me. Danish players that are currently at the club. Iverson.
Yes.
Old Mads now is here.
Yes.
And a certain Yannick Vestergaard.
You should have got this question in your quiz. You might
I should have known one would have got it right because even the person doing the interview, maybe it slipped his mind that we have a Danish lamppost in Yannick Vestergaard at the club. But
who had a decent 30-odd minutes the other night.
yeah, he also had a decent 30 minutes of being a street lamp, but we don't talk about that either.
Oh, he said that. He'd only in the previous couple of seasons had a decent 30 minutes altogether. So, yeah, let's not
Let's not get carried away.
But yes, no, it is a point. You didn't mention him. As you say, though, maybe we should allow for the fact that the other two are goalkeepers.
Maybe, like I said, maybe Enzo accidentally on purpose cut his line and didn't give him his number to ring him.
I mean, he's 23, so he's actually older, I think, than Everson.
We've forgot another one here, Chris, just to put it up there, because if you don't mind, look at Nate's comment, and we forgot one ourselves. Christiansen, of course. I always think
I wasn't naming them.
I know, but I forgot them, didn't I? We forgot them. You didn't even say them. We were thinking backstage. So yeah, we had three before we signed Mads. Exactly what I meant, Nate. I'm catching you out. You caught me out. Well played. That was all. You passed the test, Nate. Well done, Nate.
It's kind of shot your whole argument down. But
I mean, I can't believe.
We'll cut it out. It's not live. Nobody.
Yeah, it's all right. No one will know. So I always forget Christensen's nationality. I always think he's something like Belgian or something. I don't know why. It's because we've got so many of them as well. We did at one point.
I'm just looking, and I have got a graph later that comes up. Yeah, well, no, Everson is 25, so actually Everson is older. But look, let's have a look. Mads Hermansen joins Leicester City on a 5-year deal, so we're not messing about with a year deal or train with us before the season starts, Johnny Evans. He's joining on a 5-year deal. He signed from Danish Superliga side Bronby. The 23-year-old has made 70 career appearances to date, and he was Bronby's Player of the Year in 2022. The 23-year-old arrived with Santa Reed a 5-year deal. He said he's very excited to be here. He began his youth career at, oh my God, Naseby Bathtub, by the look of it. He joined Bronby in 2015 and first broke into senior environment as a 19-year-old in 2019. Hermansen has since made 36 appearances in the Danish top flight, as well as a further 26 in the Superliga Championship round. He's also represented Denmark at international level, at various youth levels from under 16s to under 19s, and was called up to the senior squad for the UEFA Euro 2024 qualifying matches in June against Northern Ireland and Slovenia, which makes me wonder, because Everson wasn't injured for those, but he's being picked over Everson.
I don't know if Everson had been given the nod yet at Leicester to take over from Ward. That might be the only reason, or if he had, he'd only just started. So obviously,
that was in June this year.
June.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought I misheard you. Sorry. But again, Player of the Year, Danish. They probably have it easier to scout their own country than to come over and see Iverson. I mean, he's impressive from the stats and all that. You know, I'm not too particularly reading into match stats, but when it comes to a certain player stats and the breakdown, it's a bit different.
YouTube videos, for that matter.
Yeah, all them. They're probably stats I don't mind, but no, look, he's a good player. It's a good prize. I mean is,
whenever you see these players, they're never going to put up a video of their bad games, are they?
No, you never get a bad video of YouTube montages, do you? Unless they hate the player.
No, exactly. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm in the wrong job here, because I could ask questions about what's the most satisfying thing about being a goalkeeper? Is it keeping a clean sheet? I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, where did you learn that at journalism school? Bloody hell. That's been stating the bleeding obvious award, hasn't it? You know, but but look, he comes in. We're going to look at because I mean that's going to give us 5 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
4 in the senior squad, and we'll look about who may go out and who he may replace. I think we are going to see somebody go. We spoke about it earlier. Is it? I mean, he's got to go in. I mean, he's 5 million, so it's better value in a way than when we bought Ward. I think he's looking at him. I mean, you would tend to say Ward or Everson probably could just about hold their own in the Championship. But would you feel more confident with this guy starting between the sticks?
I mean, he talks a big game. He's obviously quite confident and assured in what he can do. From what he was saying, he likes to play with the ball at his feet, which from what you and Craig were able to tell me about the pre-season game, is clearly something Enzo wants. I think it's something that is very Man City transferred over, if you will, because Edison's a bit the same, isn't he? He's very assured on his feet. It seems to be a trait that Pep liked. So obviously he's learned to like, or he likes himself as well. So I think on that basis, because of his age, you maybe could say that it's not necessarily a first team goalkeeper choice, but there's always that case. I mean, you would then argue saying, well, if you don't put him into your team now, and unless the were to go straight back up, do you then want to chuck him in at the deep end and make the same mistake we did with Ward, not allowing that transitional period, and that's going to be the big question. And of course, we've known for a while under a certain end of the bell that Iverson.
Oh, you think you can get away with it?
Yeah.
By saying it that way round. Well, let me tell you, young Bradley.
Bell end.
No. Carry on.
Well, thanks to a certain person who thinks everybody's a beautiful human being with great character. Iverson was pretty much, it sounded like he was telling him, look, if you're not going to use me, sell me because I want to play first team football. He'd obviously gone out on loan at Preston. I think I said to you, didn't I, Chris? You know my opinions on pre-season. I don't think they're too far off the mark with most people's opinions on pre-season, and that is we won't know until the Liverpool or Tottenham game, depending on, I can't remember which round it is. I think it's Tottenham's first.
Tottenham's first.
Yeah.
Morning, yeah.
So you maybe see there which one Enzo's entrusting to be his number one come the Coventry game, because he'll probably find that whoever starts that game, at least the first game, will probably play the 90 minutes for the Liverpool game, because you'll want your keeper with as much match practice as possible. It leaves
a couple of days, hasn't he, before they fly off to Thailand? And
yes, which is helpful.
All this jet lag shit. To be honest with you, they're not going in economy here with the knees under the chin. They'll be able to relax and sleep. And you've got according to this, we're playing Liverpool twice on the same day. That's fair. Leicester City's website. Not only can I not renew my my membership, then now, according to this, we've got Tottenham Hotspur, and then we've got Liverpool in the friendly, and then Liverpool again on the same day at the same time.
Never say that Leicester Club don't hire the most quality of member of staff.
Yes, yeah. But then it is straight into Coventry. So, it is, we said before, didn't we? We've touched on it. It's a very small pre-season. And we said that it's shorter because obviously we're playing early because we're not in the Premier League anymore. So we haven't got, a couple of weeks when you'd probably get another 2 or 3 games in. Whether Tottenham comes too soon for him, on whether he's saved for Liverpool to give him that extra week, that could be interesting.
It could be, but again, I don't know how quickly Enzo wants to establish the order with his keepers, and what I mean by that is he's probably going to have a frank discussion. I don't know who Frank is, but he's going to have a discussion with him and the other goalkeepers, and he's going to have to say, look, I've made an addition to the goalkeeper ranks. That means there's 5 of you. I obviously can only play 1 of you. Now, you would imagine that the Polish goalkeeper, who I'm just going to say he is Polish, isn't he? That's Jerzy Kuzik. Yes, him. I can't pronounce it no matter how many times you tell me, mate. The Polish goalkeeper will probably be either the development goalkeeper or he'll get out on loan. You then probably say that Smith is well, he was brought in a case of emergency, please break and release onto the pitch. Maybe he plays in the cup game, although give him a run, you might now decide a new goalkeeper, if he's going to be the number one, you want him to play the pre-season commentary and against Burton to keep his momentum going. So you've got two goalkeepers, which we probably know what's going to happen to them one way or another with the Polish goalkeeper, and Smithers isn't going anywhere. The big decision now is out of Ward, out and Mads and Iverson, which one's going to be the number one? And
going to be coming on to that in a
second.
And
that's the interesting part, isn't it? Them three are the puzzle that we're going to have to figure out.
Andrew says here this morning we haven't played a pre-season game at the King Power. I think it's just because it has been a shorter pre-season. Like I say, we kick off on the 6th of August, which is 2 weeks' time. That is, I think, a week before.
It's always a week before the Premier League.
And of course, normally we're not flying to Thailand.
No, but that's only recently become a thing, hasn't it? That's only become a thing recently again because of everything.
Yeah,
but
we play in Burton in the Cup. Otherwise, we probably have them pre-season as well.
And the thing is, like I said to you backstage as well, is it's probably ideal in a weird sort of way that we don't have such a compacted pre-season schedule because of the job Enzo's got to do.
Yeah,
there's still the possibility that 4 or 5 players will leave, and we hopefully are still going to be trying to get 2 or 3 or 4 through the door. So you'd rather concentrate on that and then only have a couple of pre-seasons to focus on than say Tottenham, Liverpool, and 3 others. So yeah.
Now, just to put everything in, and big up to Ant as well, by the way, just to put everything into context here, and don't say that I don't prepare for this. Some people say I throw this show together, but bugger it. I was doing this before. Who is Leicester City's highest earner? And this is just when we look at the goalkeepers in a second. But Jamie Vardy has the highest salary at Leicester, which is fair enough. He's probably been there longer than, I think he's the longest serving player now, apart from, as long as
he's the only one left.
Before Albrighton, wasn't he?
We signed Albrighton when we got promoted, and Vardy
earns £140,000 gross per week, or 7.28 million a year. It's not bad, is it? Really, it's pocket money. But
he probably needed them for his legal fees over the last 2 years.
Exactly, Leicester's annual wage bill for the last season was 79.8 million, so virtually £80 million. And this is why we've got to be careful of FFP. And we've got Geordie. I want to come back to his question later. As a weekly wage bill of 1.5 million. Wow! When you break it down like that, it's a bit scary. But the reason I've done that, and there is a reason behind everything I do, believe it or not, you may find that hard to believe. But I want to show you these players. Now, 4 goalkeepers outside of Hermansen, and just comparing all their different information. So, Alex Smithers is 33. He's got another 12 months on his contract. His remaining wages, and when I quote these figures, before everybody starts in the chat saying, "No, that's not true," blah, 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 we don't know what his wages are. Probably any of the players exactly. It's all a bit of guesswork, and when we buy players in, sometimes it's undisclosed. So these are just going off internet, and so bear with them, but it gives us an idea. That's the thing behind it. So Smithers is 33. 12 months left on his contract. His remaining wages are 1.5 million. That's not bad though for him, is it really? And he's got a value, if we were to try and sell him, of £500,000. Jakub Stolcevic is 22. His contract runs until June 26, so there's another 3 years left on his. I couldn't find any information about his wages. I don't know how much he's got. I'm guessing because he's in the youth team, he's not going to be probably about the same, if less than Smithers. And he has got a value, if he was to be sold at the moment, of 215,000. Danny Ward is 30, who's the second oldest, older than I thought he was. June 25, so he's got another 2 years left on his contract. Remaining money, £4.1 million of his wages still to pay. And he's got a value of 5.1 million. That's another player that Mr. Rogers has devalued for us. Everson is 25. June 25 so he's got a couple of years left as well. His remaining wages are literally just tipping over the 2 million, and his value is 4.3 million. They're the four that we've got, as well as obviously the new signing. Like you say, Smithers, we got him on a free. We're not going to sell him that's going to make anything. All right, we're saving $1 million. To a football club these days, that is peanuts. I mean, you'd write that off in fake shirt fixing prices, wouldn't you? Say that out loud. But look, he's 33. He's got experience at this level. You keep him for that year, surely, don't you? Just as a real emergency.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, you look at any club. I mean, look at the goalkeepers over the years that have ended up at random clubs. Scott Carlson to Man City. Goalkeepers like that, they are there for that. In case of emergency, please break the glass and allow them to be your goalkeeper, because you just need that what if moment. Take for example, look what happened to Nick Pope at Newcastle, and they'd loaned both their goalkeepers out, and then all of a sudden they had to get what was his name, concussion man, who got concussed against Real Madrid.
I know, but he literally was on a beach somewhere. They had to call it back off his holidays, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want that scenario. No club wants that scenario. And look, again, like you said, for what he's worth, Carriers. Thanks, Mike. I just saw a comment there. I can never think of his name. We didn't sign him to be number one for obvious reasons. We signed him for that case of if something was to happen to our first and second choice, we know we've got an experienced head. Because like you said, Chris, when we originally signed him, he was playing in the Championship. He's played there most of his career. He had a spell, I think, when Huddersfield went up, I think he might have been there. So he's got a little bit of experience in the Premier League. So it's exactly what any club's looking for. Somebody who's not going to demand huge wages, which is obviously not, if that's what he's got left on his year. He's probably I can't do maths, so I'm not going to try and work out what that would work out to per week or month he's getting. But you would say he's on a very respectable wage for the job he's getting required to do, which is probably just use him as a test dummy to show the goalkeepers what they want from him, sort of thing.
And like you say, that emergency cover. Because
exactly.
Last season, Stolchek was out on loan.
Yes, exactly. So you need that cover.
Or Everson, you had the other one as a backup. One of them gets injured. You then haven't, you promote the other one. You then haven't got a keeper on the bench. I think he stays Smithies for that 1 year. Look, let's jump straight to Danny Ward, because he's the one that is. Andrew said earlier he's been linked with Saudi, but then again, my grandmother's been linked with a move to a Saudi Arabian football club, but she's been dead 30 years. So look, I mean, it's true, isn't it? Come on, and fair play to them. I do love the Premier League's hypocrisy and they shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, fuck off, like you did 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Value-wise, he's probably the one we can get the most money for. He is Welsh international. I don't know. Mike will probably tell me whether he's still first choice or not. He could do a decent job, I think, for possibly bottom third Premier League teams or another Championship team if he was to stay in this country. I think his days are numbered, though, to be honest. I think for me, I think he's the one that's going.
Yeah, and because we obviously know there's a fifth member of the goalkeeping band there, I think there's also a
Spice Boys.
possibility. Yeah. So I had a joke, and you just took it from my head. Then,
Oh,
because
sorry, mate. Sorry.
it was an awful one, so it's all right. Don't worry about it. It saved you the misery of hearing it. I know, but the fact that they know there's a new member coming in to join the goalkeepers committee, if you will. I mean, the way it seemed that there was mistrust in the defence in Ward. I think his time at Leicester was cooked the second Iverson was named on the team sheet ahead of him, and he never got back into the number one spot. I just don't see how he gets back into given a chance. He's 30. I can't see him being happy being second or probably even third choice if we're being fourth choice, maybe, if you kept them all. I agree with what Andrews has put up there, but I think from a perspective of Leicester, they won't be happy to pay him to sit on the bench. They'll say, no, you need to go and find yourself
I
another
think
club.
for $2 million a year, he would be very happy to sit there. And I was just about to say then, if you're Ward, do you not? There's a little point of you thinking like, "Go on then, Daniel. You take the flak now." Because last season it was, let's be honest with you, it was a poison chalice being picked to play in that team under Brenda, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but again, yeah, it all depends on Danny. He's at a point in his career, and you have to remember goalkeepers, if they're reasonable standards as well, has to be said. But they have a longevity in the game that outfield players don't have for the majority of them. There is some freaks and natures out there that play into their mid to late 30s, but for the majority of the late 30s and sometimes 40s with some goalkeepers.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Sorry,
goalkeeper. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right with Vardy being an outfield player. That's a rare example, but the majority of goalkeepers can play into their late 30s, and the odd one gets into the 40s. We even had one. I think it was Schwartz who was 40 when he was playing for us. So
what was it? What was Ron Ziegler, whatever he was called? Was he that one? And of course, there was the Italian goalkeeper, wasn't he? He was about 90 when he was still playing.
oh God knows, yeah,
Yeah.
probably knowing them, mate. I mean, Gianluigi Buffon looks about 65 and he's still playing in the Italian league. So it all depends on Danny Ward, and I don't think he's going to play for Leicester again. He certainly won't be given the responsibility of the number one jersey again. It just doesn't seem it. Not just because Iverson took the jersey off him, but from the interview that Mads has got and from the reports of how Enzo wants his goalkeepers to play, Iverson is streets ahead of him in control of the ball at his feet. You just saw it. It was such a big contrast between the two. So for me, Danny Ward has a choice. Pick up a wage packet and then get let go and then get picked up by some championship or newly promoted League One side in 2 years' time, or see if a Crystal Palace or a Wolves. My dad told me that Wolves are trying to offload one of their goalkeepers, and it's actually the Jose Starr, which I'm really surprised about, and so is he. So maybe he's waiting for an opening at one of their clubs to sell on a goalkeeper, and then maybe he moves there. So if you said only one of them was going out of the other three, because we know we're assuming Smithers is staying, I would say it's Ward that goes out the door. It's the obvious choice for me, because you're either sending the Polish goalkeeper out on loan or you're having him as that secondary, depending on Iverson. It all depends on Iverson if he's willing to. Well, it's basically a fight for the number one jersey, in my opinion, between Iverson and Mads. Realistically.
So I'm just having a chat with Geordie.
See, I'm boring him already, folks. See how it is. He didn't even listen to a word I said.
Everson, look, you and me we both like Ward, and I felt Schmeichel had to go, and I felt Ward was the obvious choice at that point, and it just didn't work out for him. I don't think it was all his fault. Let's be honest with you. I think he wasn't helped out by the four buffoons, whichever 4 or 3 or 5 it was that was in front of him from week to week. So I don't think he was helped out at all. But Daniel Everson came in, and he did feel like a safer pair of hands. So I'm just thinking he's the one. I can't. If I was going to go hold on to anybody of those, I'd probably want. I mean, Smithies, yeah, because he's only got a year to go. Everson, he'd be the one I'd probably want to keep out of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Just purely on the basis that I think what didn't do Danny Ward any favours and instantly put doubt in Leicester fans' mind is a certain Mr. Celtic loving, never leave them in disgrace. Rogers said, "Oh, I'm going to give Danny Ward these last 3 or 4 games because we're safe. We can't get Europe, but I can give him a run." And basically hinting at the idea that he was going to make him his number one, and then didn't play him. And then the whole transfer fiasco with FFP, hushing, not keeping tight lip, not knowing, wanting to spend money, being told you'd have money, then getting told with about 3 days to go, oh, by the way, unless yourself are fine, you're going to have no money to do anything. It makes you wonder with the way everything went throughout that start of the season and how poorly it was for us. And obviously, it continued to be poor, but I just wonder if maybe, Mr. Rogers even doubted his own words and went, oh, crap, I now need to get a new number one in because actually I don't trust Danny Ward to be the number one. And I'm not sure if Iverson's ready for the step up to Premier League level at that point. So I'd wonder if, it was already a lost cause and he kind of felt that he owed Ward more than he wanted to make him number one. He kind of felt bad that he'd, broken a promise to him or something because you just never got that feeling that it was really the wholesome choice of confidence that Ward was the number one. And that's definitely who was always going to take over from Casper because it just didn't seem to play out did it? Like you said, Iverson was a lot better and more composed on the ball.
End of that previous season to the last one, I mean, he was going to be giving the youngsters a load of chances, wasn't he, in those last few games? But I think he realised that, well, we actually ended up finishing 8th, I think, that season, didn't we? Which was a complete, it just did not sum that season up at all. But we do know, Brendan and promises are not two things that stick around long. Jakub Skolcic, 22 he is. So he's still basically in the youth team. He played the other day. I only saw a few minutes of him, and he got away. Had that been a game, and I don't think he'd have been playing if we'd been playing, say, Liverpool or Tottenham, he would have been punished a lot more than Northampton did. Well, they didn't, did they? Let's be honest with you. Now, for me, he comes into that, he's going to be the youth goalkeeper. Or he's going to go out on loan and Smithies is going to be one of the overage players in that team. He's only 22 still. And I know it's say only when the main ones were talking about a 23, 25. But that's the way I look at him because, yes, he's had experience, but not at this kind of level, really, has he?
No, of course he's not. And realistically, I think Leicester actually have an under-21s goalkeeper. So, he didn't feature, obviously, because he was out on loan last season. We would have had someone else in there. So, I think you've pretty much got you've got 2 options with him. If we sell, and we're only going off the assumption here, it could well get shocked and turns out that Danny Ward isn't the one that gets sold. But let's just say for hypothetical basis, if we sell Ward but keep Iverson, then you're loaning Jakub, aren't you? You're sending him down to League One because you don't want to, they like to keep the progress looking as if they're going up the level. So he won't want to go to League Two. He'll want him at League One training, or maybe even like a Plymouth who are new to the Championship sort of thing. Because obviously you can have that rule that he can't play against us, so it wouldn't be the worst thing if he went to like a Plymouth or a Bristol City or somewhere like that. Because Big Nige, I'm just saying, he could go there. The other option would be we sell both Iverson and Ward, and he becomes the number 2 behind Mads, and that's the 2 scenarios I see for him. I don't see Jakub going back down to the development because I'm not sure if it benefits him because obviously he'd be 23 at some point in the season. he'd be eyeing to make himself.
Couldn't do maths. I don't know.
I know, right? Listen to me. But yeah, that's the only two things I see. If we keep one of Ward and Iverson, he'll go out on loan, and if we get rid of both, he'll be the backup to Mads. You'd assume.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I put a poll out.
You shouldn't do that, Chris. That's not nice.
I mean, he was annoying me. He was annoying. They were talking about strike action at the local fire station, so they took a poll and they all fell through the floor.
They got to the truck cricket then.
Yes. Hey. I did a poll earlier about, okay, so this guy's coming in with Smithies likely to stay. Which of the three would you want to let go? No surprising, perhaps, when you kind of think the majority of these are going to be Leicester fans voting. But Danny Ward, Dennis's brother, has got 89% of the votes.
Oh, dear. That was a little bit lopsided, wasn't it?
Yeah, Everson's got 6.7. Stolchik's got 4.3. Now, there's still time to vote. It doesn't finish until about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So there's loads of money, loads of time to vote. But it looks like Danny Ward is the one that everybody wants to go. And like I say, that I do kind of feel a little bit sorry for the guy.
I mean, I do. I always felt he was harshly treated, and I know. Iverson obviously was brought in. He wasn't developed from the Leicester squad, but because he was brought in from a young age to development, I think people almost took him in as one of our own, as it is. And I think it's very unfortunate that. I will say this: I don't think the fans treated him nicely. I know results early in that season were absolutely horrendous. We don't need to remind ourselves of certain scores, but we tried to hit double figures in the early points of the season. Let's just leave it there. But I think we was a bit critical of him, and I think
the goalkeeper though, isn't
it? Exactly, Chris. And a lot of them goals, I know I was quite the defender of him. Saying, well, what can you do about 4 of the goals or all the goals? Some games, it's like I compared it to when De Gea was getting a bad rap from Manchester United fans because they were conceding 3 goals, 4 goals, and that. I was thinking, yeah, but if your defence is allowing you to have 20 shots per game, which Danny Ward was getting, if you were all of these kind of stats, Chris, if I'm in goal and my defence is allowing the ball to go through them, and I'm throwing myself around trying to stop them, and I'm getting 20, 30 shots at me, and we lose 6-0. Am I a shite goalkeeper for saving the other 24 shots out of 30, or am I having a bad defence? Because if he had a good solid defence like we had the season before, Chris, well, there's more of the front half of that season, not so much backup. You know what I mean? And I'm only having 6 shots at me. If I'm conceding 5 out of them goals out of 6 shots, then I'm shite. Yes. But I think he was very harshly treated. I do agree with you.
I think, my God, we're agreeing again.
Well, I don't like it, Chris. Stop it.
We are going to have to stop this. I just very quickly, though, want to move on. And I'm not going to spend a long time talking about this. We did touch it the other night, and Geordie's had to go. But Harvey Barnes, West Ham allegedly have pulled out. Not interested in him, although they've got the money now. If he's not gone, and I understand Newcastle, fair play to them in fairness, they've got all the money and they're saying, actually, we want to play by the rules. Maybe, other Arab-owned clubs should do that. And if we buy Barnes at the moment, we are messing FFP up. And we know that Man City have just had a fine, which basically like pocket money to them, isn't it? From UEFA. But no, fair play to them wanting to try to stay in it. So they have possibly got to sell Saint-Maximin before they can take Barnes in. But and I know it's a sellable asset, but we have got money. We have got money because we've got 110 million that we got, from last season. Parachute payments don't click until next season. But if we've not sold Barnes by 12 o'clock on Sunday, a week on Sunday, or 2 weeks on Sunday, do we then say he ain't going anywhere till January?
Well, you know my opinions on the transfer window. You know, Chris, when the season starts, transfer window should stop. I think it's ridiculous that you're allowed to, you know, mess a squad's plans up, because I think if I was manager of Leicester, if I was sat in Enzo's shoes, and like you said, 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you say, when I've got to name a team and I'm looking around at me 20 odd players I've got registered for that season, and I've still got a Harvey Barnes there, I want to play him. That, you know, I want him here, you know, at least until January. And, you know, things can change in January, and that's not. But I want to be looking at him going, so you're here then? And he's going, yes, boss. Yes, boss. So, you know, I thought about leaving. Clubs haven't really piped up, so I'm going to get my head down on focus for you. Brilliant. Here's your shirt. Here's your number. You've trained really well. Go on. You're in the starting 11 or on the bench for Coventry. You shouldn't have to be, as a manager, thinking, well, if I play him against Coventry, what if he pisses off next week? Because that completely changes my plans. So
exactly, and this is what gets me. And I know you don't like mentioning the French Voldemort, but it did mess up the defence, didn't it? Because we'd got you think, right, this is the 3 or the 4 or the 5, whatever it is that I am going to play, and then suddenly, he's gone 2 games into the season. So you've got to bring somebody in who isn't used to it. And, you know, with Harvey Barnes, we don't know. I mean, to me, I've never seen anything he's not come out and said, I want to leave. If anything, the opposite. I think I read somewhere at one point he came out and said he was happy to stay. He's not a local lad. He's not a Leicester player. You know, he's not Leicester born and bred. Leicester's not in his blood. But I just think it's we both agree again straight about the transfer window, and I just think the club can surely afford to say to Newcastle, and I understand Newcastle, they've got their own things to sort out at their end, of course they have, but it only seems Newcastle that are out there for him. You know, we're not being, you know, they're not knocking the door down. Harvey Barnes, we want Harvey Barnes. West Ham have dropped out, so, you know, I'm sure we could afford to say, look, you know, if you don't get him by the start of the season, to be fair to us, we want him till January. But then we can sign a pre-deal that in January you have him. And let's be honest with you, if we have a good start, he may be our star player. But you can't afford to have a player like that not playing, because it's cutting your nose off to spite your face, isn't it?
yeah, of course it is. And again, Enzo will want a settled squad. He'll want a squad that is committed and is going to be a part of his plans, because with the greatest respect, and I really do respect the fact that Newcastle are coming out and going, no, we're not going to break the rules and take slap on the fines like certain big giant clubs have exposed it for. You know, they're going, no, we you know, we would like Harvey Barnes, and they've made that obvious. They're not hiding from the fact that they're interested in Barnes, but to do that, they would need somebody to come in and buy one of their assets. And I think, with the greatest respect to Newcastle, if that does drag its heels, and like you said, with a week to go before we play, I would say not even 7 days. 7 days for Leicester to kind of
7 days rather than a week.
Well,
you just said a week. No, not even that. 7 days.
Yeah, I meant. Do you know what happened there, Chris? What happened there was my brain went to say before the Coventry game, and then I said not even just before the Coventry game, a week, but my brain said the week twice. Anyway, you know,
just making a note of that.
Yeah, there you go. You can quote me on talking gibberish. But no, I would want Leicester to be in a position where maybe, worst case scenario, Newcastle are slowly tying up the loose ends to get rid of a Maximin or someone like that, and Leicester are already casting an eye over an immediate replacement. That's the only way I'd like a transfer to happen in the last week before we play Coventry. Anything closer to that Sunday game, i.e. a Thursday, Friday, even a Wednesday, no, it's not for sale. No. You have come again in January, because we haven't got time to do adequate scouting to get a replacement in.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a settled member of our team now.
That's the problem, isn't it? And that was the problem with the French Voldemort. Everything else was wrong with him, but then also we didn't have enough time to get I'm not saying FaZe was a bad replacement, but he may not have been the one we went for if we'd had more time.
But and that's the thing. He's already trying to get players that are already embedded in the squad, like your Samares, like your Ndides, etc., up to scratch and up to this new style of play, which none of them are used to. Do you want to be a player that joins, the Man City version in the Championship, if you will, if you pardon that pun? Do you want to be a player that, you know what I meant? My English isn't working, so my brain's not working.
No, you weren't wrong. I'm just saying that people have been calling us the PSG of the Championship.
Well, yeah. I prefer to be known as Man City of the Championship because at least we wouldn't have Neymar disappearing for his sister's birthday. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, but my point stands is, would you want to be a player that suddenly feels like a last-minute option because you're 2 weeks into the season, you're going to spend 6 weeks getting used to them, training, getting up to max fitness. You want it done early. And this is why I think the longer it drags on, the more confident I am that Barnes will be a Leicester player, at least for this season, or worst case, half of it.
And like I say, it's not like we are desperate for the money.
Exactly.
I hope you're feeling better, sir. You said you'd been in hospital for a couple of weeks. Don't know sort of what was wrong with you, but I hope you are, well, you're obviously out, and I hope you're feeling better and are on the mend.
I hope you're getting well soon, mate.
What Geordie went on to say was, and he's had to go now, but he had put a few comments in which I'm going to come back to. I wish we could, Chris. It's FFP on our wages. I'm told that's the reason, but who knows what's the truth. I have heard that a lot about the wages, and like you say, fair play to them. Right, let me just try and find, because I then did say to him, I've just got to find it now. Talk amongst yourselves. Very happy. What I wanted to say was, said Geordie, the question was, would you sell Maxim as part of the Barnes deal, and would you recommend him? Because I mentioned this the other night, didn't I? In fact, last night, whether it would be a good signing for us to say, well, all right, 40 million, but if we've got to go and find a replacement, and they're talking about Barnes being Newcastle's Maxim replacement, then would he not be a good? Because I've heard sort of good things off Newcastle fans. So with Geordie coming in, I wanted to ask him his thoughts. Now, what he said is yes, I would, Chris. Maxi is a maverick, brilliant at times, but he's not a Howe-type player. He's not a worker as such, and injuries have hindered him over the last 18 months, but he loves the club and the city. I'd rather have Barnes than Maddison, which I might have been in the minority, but for one main reason, we don't play with a number 10, so why change the system for one player? Fair point. Mike Green, he knows his players, does Mike. ASM is a very good player, and I think he's suited at Leicester as he suits Pep's style, and Enzo is quite obviously following some system morals to Pep. Agreed. And I thought he added another one comment after that. So no. So to me, if we've got to go out and then try and find a replacement for Barnes, and we still got to try and get another winger in as well on the other side anyway, which we've been trying to do for about the past 500 years, why not just say, okay, we'll take ASM off your hands for you? I think really he could be good for us in that league.
Yeah, he could be. I think he either goes one or two ways for me in the Championship. He either finds his feet, gets regular football, and then gets a chance to show his talent, and then gets a second crack at the whip. Hopefully, in the Premier League. The only concern I have about him, and I think if Geordie was still here, he'd be able to probably ease them worries for me from what he's saying, is not only does it seem like he breaks down more than the 158 bus going from Leicester to Hinckley, but
that was only because Brendan was throwing all the players under them.
Well, yeah, that probably didn't help the repair jobs on them. The bumpers kept getting replaced, but the one thing that does concern me is I don't know why, but he seems to remind me of that Adama Traore at Wolves. You know, the baby oil advert, the one that must have been sponsored by Johnson and Johnson because he always had like baby oil on his arm so people couldn't grab him. Which I don't know why that's allowed when it shouldn't be. But my dad said about him at Wolves is he's lightning quick, but he don't seem to know the brackets of the pitch because he can't cross a ball, he can't score. I remember the first game of not last season, the season before, Chris, and you were saying we were both saying had he had his shooting boots on, which he clearly never, he could have scored 4 or 5 passes that game. And I just hope that if we were to do a deal, say 20 million and maximum to make up the 30 million or 40, whatever, or the price would obviously change dramatically from 30 odd million, I reckon, if we did it. Maybe a straight swap value-wise, I don't know, but that would be the only thing that concerns me a little bit. But if we get the maximum full of confidence and can really get into the Championship and get goals flowing, it's a great deal for both clubs.
If we get the maximum maxim.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, you cross it over, mate. I'll knock it in.
I know, right? Get us in the team, mate. It's all right. We'll be all right.
Right, well, there we go. It was a excuse me, just a quick one, which for us an hour is a quick one. Just to have a look. 4 signings in, 3 permanent, one on loan, who might turn into permanent. I mean, I'm feeling, well, just this time last year, it couldn't be more different, could it? I think this time last year, thinking like, God, has Top gone back to town and locked the safe with the checkbook in it? But
very different.
We're certainly, and what a difference 12 months, mate. This time, I say last season we were all moaning. This time, well, although we're down a league, but we are a bit happier. We are going to be back in the morning. You might be back with me for Leicester versus Tottenham watch along. Which we should be able to actually possibly. That will be 10 o'clock or 10:15, I think, on Sunday, or 10:30. 10:30 is an 11 a.m. kickoff because it's in Thailand, and then obviously the week later we have got things. So join us for that Sunday morning, 10:30. You have got a quiz coming up. Hang on, let me just see what day it's going to be on. It could be any, couldn't it, really? Is it Sunday by any chance, Brad?
It is, where it's easy like a Sunday afternoon. Dan, who was in earlier in the chat, or as I call him, Dan the Burnley man, he's busy schedule. He's made some room, some space for me, and he said, Brad, I know it's your day of rest, but Sodja, I want you working. And I said, well, thanks very much, mate. So yes, Sunday, 8 o'clock is when Dan's on, and you keep freezing my end, mate. So I don't know if you've been talking around me.
Oh, but you were freezing at my end. So
you gotta love it. We're both freeze together, mate.
8 o'clock on Sunday is basically what we're saying.
Yeah, 8 o'clock Sunday. Dan the Burnley fan, as I call him, or Turfmoor House TV. If you know him.
Yeah, LTID TV, the quiz channel. Get over there, subscribe if you haven't and you like your quizzes. Apart from the big fat Leicester quiz, they're all over on that channel now, hosted by Brad. And there's still time to join the fantasy football Doodah prediction league. Come name that game, whatever. Quiz.
Yeah, I tell you what, I can tell you had a job in advertising, mate. You made that so well. Yes, the predictions league is being extended. The predictions league is being extended to you lovely people in the comments. Yeah, that's your place you finished last season, mate. There's mine.
You only won because I remind you to add some points onto yourself.
That's very true. And you did get me to take some off Steve, to be fair. So that was, kick him when he's down. I know, kick the man when he's down, for Christ's sake. But no, there is a lot of you already involved in there. I've got you all over on Twitter. We'll be starting up into a group chat at some point. If you want to get involved and you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at Fulltime Focus. Send me a follow. I'll follow you back. Just because I like to stalk people. No, I don't really. Don't take that too seriously. And then just drop me a message. Just say, hi, mate, I want to be involved in the Predictions League. And then when you sent me over your £5 from PayPal, I'll let you in. It isn't really. I'm only joking. It's all free. Of course, it's free.
You froze again then.
Oh, for God's sake! This bloody internet. Who said it was any good over here? Yeah, it's not really a fiver. It's all free, and there's some lovely prizes up for grabs, isn't there, Chris? From our esteemed legend ourselves, Steve Lynex.
The legend himself. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. The winner will receive one of the following: a cap, a beanie, a t-shirt, sweatshirt, top, and a hoodie. Now, I am actually talking to Steve. Well, I'm not at the moment, but I will be doing about whether to sort of leave that as just for the first place or try and give some of those for second and third. But he's been very generous with what he is offering, so maybe we can split that up. But there will be prizes out there from foxy7clothing.co.uk. And I'm just
we'll have to see if we can get Steve to get a wooden spoon for whoever comes last.
Well, he's probably got his own anyway.
The prediction show from Leicester Till I Die TV is brought to you by ex-Fox Steve Lynex and Foxy7
No, it's freezing at my end as well now. So
that was a bit of a mishmash. That played and we're still playing there.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It froze at my end, so I had no idea at all what was going on. But look, thank you very much, Brad. Hey, it's looking good. PSG, eat your heart out. Premier League, we'll be back there next season. Nobody clip this and throw it back at me in 46 games' time. Please.
Oh God, let's hope not, mate. Let's hope we're having a smug moment at the end of the season.
Yes, let's fingers crossed. I might see you on Sunday. I doubt it because you're never up at that time. It doesn't exist for you.
I don't even know what 11 a.m. is, mate. I thought it was just a measurement, not a time.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. Take care. And I'll see you. If I don't see you Sunday morning, I'll see you Sunday night.
Yeah, I'll see you then, mate. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Brad for coming on. Get over there at Full-Time Focus. Follow him on Twitter and also LTID TV, the quiz channel, if you like your quizzes. There's a lot we've got. We've got Quiz Stars, The Rivals, the £1 million drop that he's doing at the moment, Room 101. There's lots there to tickle your fancy. And if anybody can tickle your fancy, believe you me, it's Brad. Take care, Nat. Take care, Harris. Thanks to everybody that has been in the chat for joining in. Geordie couldn't stay, unfortunately, but thanks to him for popping in, Mike, and everybody else that's been in. We'll be back, like I say, Sunday morning at 10:30. We'll be back before that. In fact, we'll be back on Saturday for England-Haiti in the Women's World Cup, which kicks off this week. I'm not going to be able to see a lot of those games because I'm going to be doing the radio show in the morning when they're all on, but there we go. But thanks to Brad for coming on as well. As it says there, become a member, just £1.99 of your good English pounds a month. And if you click on the link below, before you join, it tells you exactly what you get, including discount on merchandise. I will see you at the weekend. Have a good one. It's looking good, guys, this coming season, isn't it, with the signings, I've got to say. I've been Chris. This has been LTID TV. This is Arnie. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.